Could you lower those signs, please? I have some very sad news for all of you, and that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidence evidently is that there were white people who were responsible, you can be filled with bitterness and with hatred and a desire for revenge. We can move in that direction as a country, in greater polarization, black people amongst blacks and white amongst whites, filled with hatred toward one another. Or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and to comprehend and replace that violence, that stain of bloodshed that is spread across our land, with an effort to understand compassion and love. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust of the injustice of such an act against all white people, I would only say that I can also feel in my own heart the same kind of feeling. I had a member of my family killed, but he was killed by a white man. But we have to make an effort in the United States. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond or go beyond these rather difficult times. My favorite poem, my favorite poet was Aeschylus. And he once wrote, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, feeling of justice toward those who still suffer within our country, whether they be white or whether they be black. We can do well in this country. We will have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past, but we will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of violence. It is not the end of lawlessness, and it's not the end of disorder. But the vast majority of white people and the vast majority of black people in this country want to live together, want to improve the quality of our life, and want justice for all human beings that abide in our land. And dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people. Thank you very much.
the greater raw vote. And the uncommitted slate leaning towards Humphrey has 13%. Well, Bill, do you think now that possibly Kennedy is pulling ahead as these predictors and prophets have said he would, with that small gain?
Well, with that gain, Howard, I think what we're beginning to get are the sources of the Kennedy strength. As you remember earlier in the evening, one of the...
Senator Kennedy is going down...
I went down to Evie's Pies and I had to fight for the last cream one.
I made sure the staff saved you one.
You saved me one?
Meet his supporters.
Wait. You're Miss Evie?
In the flesh.
Gosh, you're doing well for yourself. But in the commercials, Miss Evie is...
White?
Wow.
Don't just stand there amazed, Michelle. Hand me a knife so I can cut it into 8 pieces, correct?
Yes. 8 pieces, 7 guests.
That was the bell, Michelle.
Right. Miss Evie.
Hi! I hope you looked through the window first. We could have been anybody.
But you're right on time. That's not just anybody.
Just be more careful next time. Ask who is it or something.
Glenn's right, man. Watch your perimeter.
I'll remember that for next time. Welcome. Come on in, folks.
Thanks, Michelle. You remember Frank.
Of course. It's good to see you again.
Thanks for having us here tonight. I think you're the only one with a color television set.
That's not the only reason we came by, of course.
No, of course not. Drinks? Anyone?
Thanks, man. Just
I got you,
roll
Frank.
me in a corner.
I got you. Thanks for having us, Michelle. RFK all the way. And doesn't Ethel look lovely?
She is beautiful. Isn't she about to pop any moment?
Oh, I think she has one more month.
Number 11, I think. Gosh, I want to have 11 kids one day.
11 by cesarean section?
Gosh, I want to have 2 kids one day.
Thanks, Michelle.
So, you think Bobby can get the nomination?
Are you kidding me? It's in the bag. We can't go on like this.
I don't know. We've survived worse.
Well, what can be worse than the racial disharmony that has continued since Reconstruction?
If that is not fixed now, it will never be fixed.
We'll just limp along half dead for another 100 years. Hell, the U.S. is practically a walking homunculi. Now all Bobby has to do is play Dr. Frankenstein and revive this corpse called America.
Wow, you've become pessimistic.
No, realistic, but hopeful. If Bobby doesn't help us, I'll pack it all up, walk the earth like a monk or something.
He'll do it.
Goodness, he has to. He just has to.
Well, I guess he could.
I guess? Man, you are ambiguous. You shrug because you've never been chased by Klan after voting registration.
Hey, I did my part.
Well, I'm gonna go get a drink of water, and when I return, you will tell me all about the part you played in the movement, Michelle. Excuse me. Evelyn, don't I know you?
You do. We both went to the University of Chicago. We rode the same Freedom Ride bus when we were 18.
Oh, of course. Oh, I'm so sorry I did not recognize you.
That's all right. We ran in different circles back then.
Well, hopefully not anymore, right?
Let's hope so. You look great.
Well, thank you. You too. It's been far too long.
May I ask, how did you end up,
In a wheelchair? It was a sniper.
what a jerk. Where was it?
Just off the Da Nang River.
What? Dave, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, I know.
Where are they now?
Gone. Like you said, I'm the lucky one.
I'm sorry. Were you all close?
Yeah.
I'll go grab another bottle of wine.
Michelle, where's your bathroom?
Straight down the hall.
Hey, Dave. Do you think Bobby's gonna stop the war?
Why do you think I'm voting for him?
'Cause he's gonna put this shit right. Unless Nixon takes the win.
Which he will not. That's the alcohol talking.
What are you gonna do with that Instamatic toy, Diane?
Photojournalism.
I bet you've seen some shit already.
Not as much as you, Dave.
Depends on the angle.
I can't feel me?
No, Frank. I can't feel you.
Something wrong, Michelle?
Well, I guess I'm serving dinner.
What happened to Evelyn?
She vanished into thin air.
Vanished? I doubt that.
Well, I was just talking to her. Maybe she's in the cellar getting some more wine.
I checked in the cellar. She's not there. Glenn, we're starting without you, okay? She's in the bathroom. We can start.
Maybe Evelyn left for the store.
Without our purse? No way.
Aren't those Glenn's glasses?
Yeah,
Then where is she?
not attached to the glasses.
Did she just leave?
Well, we would have seen her leave.
I need another drink.
Help yourself.
I'll grab you a drink.
No, Di, I got it. Thanks, though.
It'll be time to turn the TV on soon, and so far, no Evelyn and no Glenn.
Well, we can't watch it now. Glenn is not here.
Maybe she went out for a smoke, right?
Glenn doesn't smoke. And she did not leave the bathroom.
Okay.
Hey, Dave. Dave.
So, photojournalism?
Yeah, I'd like to work for National Geographic.
I'm gonna go check on Michelle.
Climbing up on a podium.
No Evelyn? Where's Dave?
I don't know. Hey, guys. Have you seen Dave? Now Dave's missing.
What the fuck? Where is he?
We should look for him.
Where, in the oven?
That's not funny, Frank.
I mean, if he was in the middle of a miracle, he could have told us before he took off.
I don't think that's it. Hey, Dave. Dave.
I'm gonna go check outside. Be right back.
Anything?
No.
Lily's.
Well, it's not Dave's. Shit. Now I'm scared. Where the hell is she? Lily?
Okay. You go look around that way, and I'll go around this way, and we'll meet back here. Nowhere else.
All right. I'm looking, but then I'm coming right back here, and I'm going to the cops. You got that?
Be careful, guys.
States over the period of the last 3 years, the divisions, the violence, the disenchantment with our society, the divisions, whether it's between blacks and whites, between the poor and the more affluent, or between age groups, or in the war in Vietnam, that we can start to work together. We are a great country, and a selfish country, and a compassionate country. And I intend to make that my basis for running and over the period of the next few months.
Frank?
What is going on?
I don't know.
That have been so unsuccessful in Vietnam of American troops and American
Dave?
Marines carrying the major burden of that conflict. I do not want
Glenn?
to, and I think we should move in a different direction.
Really? Frank?
So I thank all of you who made this possible this evening.
Diane?
All of the effort that you made.
I'm going.
And all of the people who
I'm getting out of
I
here.
haven't mentioned.
I don't think you should leave. It might not be safe.
Is it safe in here? Look, my car's just across the street. I'm getting into it and going straight to the police.
Well, I'll go with you. Let me lock up the kitchen door and I'll be right back. Stay right here.
Mayor Yorty has just sent me a message that we've been here too long already. So, my thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Confirmation from a second reporter. The news is that a very loud noise was heard as Robert Kennedy was leaving the podium in the Ambassador Hotel ballroom after having claimed victory and congratulated his supporters. A noise like a small explosion or a gun going off was heard. An ABC assistant director. Here we are now. This is the ballroom in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California.
We have an emergency here. Please leave the room.
Jim! Jim!
Any doctors in the room, please?
Right here. Get me on the air.
Anybody who can get ice cubes, too.
This is the ballroom in the Ambassador Hotel.
This is Carl George.
They're trying to clear the hall. We're still not clear on what happened, but a report that a shot was fired reached us. We hesitated to report it, not wanting to cause alarm or to pass along a false rumor. Then we got the report from a second reporter, and we proceeded to tell you about it on this program. We hope to get more information at any moment.
Lying on the floor. 4 doctors are working over him.
4 doctors.
They're fanning his face. Senator Kennedy is alive.
Kennedy was shot in the hip, we have heard.
Senator Kennedy is
4
alive.
doctors are working over him now. He was shot in the hip. We don't know by whom.
There is blood on the floor.
There's
by
blood on the
Senator
floor.
Kennedy. It's difficult to tell whether or not the senator was shot in the head. However, from what I can gather is that he was hit a couple of times. The crowd is a madhouse in here. One of our own men was shot 2 or 3 times. I can see another man on the floor here. I can't tell who it is.
No mine here.
It's,
No mine. That's a fireman. That's a fireman. No mine, right?
Who's the man on the floor?
Yeah, I'll help. Yeah. No mine.
There's another man on the floor.
No mine.
He's apparently one of the...
And that what has been going on within the United States over the period of the last 3 years, the divisions, the violence, the disenchantment with our society, the divisions, whether it's between blacks and whites, between the poor and the more affluent, or between age groups, or on the war in Vietnam, that we can start to work together. We are a great country, and a selfish country, and a compassionate country. And I intend to make that my basis for running and over the period of the next few months. My thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there. Thank you very much.
This question is for the both of you, since Desiree, you wrote the script, and James, you directed it as well. Why did you choose a very real, historical, and devastating part of American history to be the backdrop of this minimalist horror thriller?
Well,
So yeah, the first idea of this story actually came from you, Kai. It was a kind of the idea of the horror story was that you're at a party, people are at a gathering, and slowly there are people beginning to disappear inexplicably, and gradually throughout the night it ends up being one person, and there's this sense of you don't know whether to stay or to go, and you're just stuck with this uncertainty of what is taking these people, which I thought was an interesting feeling that I wanted to have in a film, an interesting horror story. While that was intriguing, I also don't like the idea of a story just having no meaning, no purpose. So I went to Desiree, my mom, to help me think of a story that could help it make it mean something.
Yeah, so I just finished watching on Netflix Bobby Kennedy for President, and it was so profound, and what I thought would be a great combination to the story was what if they disappeared because these were the very best of the young people of those days, and we don't want them to see what the world has turned into after Bobby Kennedy was killed. And because in the documentary, as well as even just in my own thinking and remembering those days, that the America that those young people fought for doesn't exist anymore, and I wanted to spare them. So if their disappearance was not like like someone took them, but more like but in some ways a rapture of time, to spare them the America that was left after Bobby Kennedy. So I thought, that would be very compelling, considering the opening of the movie is about his love, about peace, about harmony, which we are not at, which we have never been since he died. Yeah. And so that's where I was thinking, why don't we add that to it, and that gives it its philosophy and its meaning. Why did they go, and where did they go? We don't know, but they're not here anymore, and aren't we glad they're not here to see the very worst America has become? Yeah. And these are the people these young people were from the Freedom Riders. Yeah. They were from Freedom Summer in 1964. These are the kids that marched on Washington who helped organize it. These are kids.
The person who volunteered for Vietnam, even though
he volunteered in Vietnam and he didn't have to. So these were the very best of the young people that represented the time. Because what was left, they didn't get to see. They're not the kids of Woodstock or whatever's going on in San Francisco at the time.
In a sense, almost as if the people left behind are the people who get to see what America has become since then, Yeah,
since then.
Yeah. That kind of leads into my second question. There is a character left behind at the end. What does this mean, and what does this left behind person represent?
I feel like her being left behind, the final young person, was that somebody has to stay and bear witness to the mess, and so she's. I would say a representation of, at that time, she's almost probably the age of my mother, like a little younger, and she's the one who gets to not carry a torch on, but almost witness the mess. A testimony for later, someone who could look back now and go, I know, she's the one who could mark the time.
And it's interesting, I think, even a visual that we made in the end of it, that I would have to say is kind of something that happened almost on accident, but it works because we were kind of making in a sense, the household is almost symbolic to America, and her being left alone, uncertain, afraid to leave and afraid to stay. It kind of, you could say, can kind of represent a little bit of how Americans are now. We kind of have this fear-mongering kind of behavior that we have.
Yeah, afraid to leave our house, afraid to go back, can't leave our house.
Afraid of what's outside.
Afraid of what's outside. Yeah. Yeah, and that is the world that Bobby Kennedy left. Yeah. Because he was taken. And that 1968 year, of course. He's literally killed 2 months to the day after Martin Luther King. So the world that could have been was over. And she's left to stand in the doorway and not sure to leave or to stay. So leave the house and go where? Yeah. Stay in and do what? It's over.